So, in professional attitude, I think I'm live. I'm currently trying to watch this. Yes, so I got a bit of a delay on an iPad to the side of me. Oh, we'll show some things. So, 4 concurrent views. We got some people, so I'm gonna jump on Twitter and say that we're live. Hopefully everyone can hear me. If my producer, aka my wonderful assistant, helper wife, could use her headphones and jump on the channel and make sure if we are live.
Yes.
So as I say, I have another screen down below here, so if you see me looking down, I'm looking at the live screen myself. I'm a little bit drunk already, so we'll play this by ear, but I think we're gonna... And I'm live.
Yeah.
We'll jump in here and see, we've got a share link. You can hear me okay? Okay, awesome. Now there's a little bit of a delay on the stream that I am experiencing, the stream that you experience. So I'll jump in and I'll keep an eye on questions in case they come up. Hopefully if I go wrong somewhere and I need assistance, you will help me out as we go. But for the first 5 or 10 minutes, so we're going to just kind of hang about here and see how many people jump in. This is obviously the Hello Drunk World from the Dyslexic Developer. I'm going to be drinking and smoking. If you're impartial or don't agree with these things, you may want to watch something else. Cool. So, just keep a little eye here on the stream. Okay, we got still 4 concurrent people. YouTube must have some amazing bots that start live streams and listen to them. If you didn't tune in the last one, I'll do the whole introduction and all that kind of jazz again. I'm the Dyslexic Developer. I am a developer of 10 odd years. With dyslexia, I had this idea of we're now all in quarantine. You put your other earphone in and stop listening to me. We're all now in quarantine, so why not do things to keep the time going by? Fix my collar. Oh. So I've always had this idea of a kind of YouTuber, Twitch, whatever streaming kind of pattern where I would get drunk and try some new framework or library or bit of tech. Pardon me. And because I'm housebound for this in foreseeable future, why not go for it? So this evening, tonight, I'm going to take a look at Readwood JS, which was kindly suggested by Mr. Paul McBride. If you don't know this guy, he's a very cool developer, teacher, based in Belfast, Northern Ireland, same as myself. He's got a couple of courses in AHEAD and all that kind of jazz, so plug, go watch his stuff. It's more educational than what this will be. Last time we did this, it was about an hour and a half. I don't know if I can last an hour and a half again. It was pretty much a struggle the whole way through it. We'll try and condense this and keep this going, keep the flow steady, and hopefully get this done in an hour, because I'm going to upload this to YouTube. If you miss the stream afterwards, well, if you're hearing this now, you would have missed the stream afterwards if you weren't streaming in, but we'll see how it goes. And then you can watch it back. No one's going to watch an hour-long video of someone getting drunk on a YouTube channel, but it keeps me happy, it keeps me busy. So we're coming up to the 10-minute mark. Very professionally checking the live stream in YouTube, and we're up to about 4 people. Let's just do one little last blast out. As you can see what I follow on Twitter, usually shit posts and memes. Okay, so let's kind of get into the meat and bones of this. Again, any questions, comments, fire away into the live chat on YouTube. I'll periodically keep an eye on it and keep checking it. If I look over the side, That's where the window is, and people walking past the house who should be inside, stay inside. Coronavirus. Don't forget to wash your hands. All that jazz. So, Readwood JS. It was suggested by Paul Morales, as I was saying. It's something that's kind of been popping up recently on Twitter. I haven't looked at it at all, other than just like I bookmarked the actual page for it, the read back later. But I did what most people do, is I have a bunch of bookmarks of things I'm going to read. I'll never read them again. So this is a kind of good opportunity. So it seems to be driven around the whole Jamstack. So if you've never heard of Jamstack, Jamstack is this idea of using the likes of Gatsby, which is a static site generation tool framework, I think so, which is built upon React and GraphQL. But what kind of is missing from these tools is a functioning backend. So if we look at Gatsby JS, Gatsby, it's pegged as like the static site generation tool where you can pull multiple sources, be it a GraphQL source, a WordPress source, a different CMS. So you can see all the content here, and you then use that to build your site. All the data collection is done at build time, so it's meant to be really efficient because you're not fetching data at runtime. So when users are hitting your site, they're hitting a very quick, fast, reliable site. There's issues there because it's static content, like you don't have a database. With the likes of WordPress, you have a database backing it, so you would have like a SQL database holding all your records, but you have to pay for those kind of things and host them, and I think like the missing part for Gatsby at the minute has been the likes of Redwood. So I think this is what it's pegged at. They mentioned GraphQL and Prisma and all this kind of stuff. I've never heard of Prisma before. I think I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is. So we'll see what that actually is. It's got all this fancy images and board, but I don't have time to read any of this kind of stuff. Like, it's got a nice enough looking website, so it obviously must be cool. So let's just get into right. We're going to go through like the tutorial. This is going to very much remind you of if you've ever watched the likes of Scott Tolinski, who does Scott Tries. It's going to be very similar to that, where we're going to go through. We're going to try out the quick guide tutorial on how to get this set up. But I'm very lazy and very dyslexic and don't want to read too much things. I want to get straight to the meat and bones. We'll try and modify things as we go and make them a little bit funny. Right. Finish my cigarette. Let's go. So, welcome to Redwood. We don't care about this. Right. Next. So we need prerequisites. So do we have Node installed? Node -v. We do. Do we have Yarn installed? If I can type Yarn. There we go. It says greater than 1.15. We have 1.22, which should be good. We've got version 10. We don't care about any of this. Right, so this is kind of cool. So it's taking advantage of Yarn's like kind of built-in boilerplate compiler pre-build tools. Similar to like if you use the likes of Create React App, you can like use npx create React App and whatever, where this has Yarn create, and then it'll create a boilerplate for us. Pardon me. So this is what I love about websites as well. So we're going through the example. I haven't read anything yet. I go straight for the code blocks because they're highlighted and they're a different theme than what I would normally take. But having this little copy icon, it's copied. I would love if there was a feedback on the page to tell me that it was copied. But we can go here. So I have my personal directory on my machine. Paste that in. We're going to start creating this. This could be a little bit boring going through this. So what are the next steps? So we're going to be creating our Redwood blog. We'll try and jazz things up and put funny pictures of dogs and cats and stuff in there, or pictures of beers. If you have any suggestions along the way about funny pictures or of beers, dogs, cats, shots, Jaeger bombs, fire them in the chat. So, oh, I failed. Checking our blah blah blah. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. CD into Redwood, and then yarn. I think it's yarn install. Just run the yarn install again. Ugh, I have to install. I have to update my version of Node. Right, so we'll learn how we do that. So I'm running on. Why am I running on such an old version of Node? Node minus V. So I'm running on version 10.15. That's really out of date. I use this very handy tool called npm-n, which is really awkward and hard to explain to people whenever you're trying to tell them to install OnGrid. But N is this interactive tool for installing the latest versions of Node. So we're gonna fly by the seat of our pants and install the latest version of Node. So N latest. And we need to run it with sudo. Oh yeah, the drink is kicking in. I can't type my password. There we go, got it. Ooh, third time's the charm. So, as I was saying, N is actually a very useful tool. It allows you to manage and control what versions of Node and npm that you're running. There's other tools as well, like nvm, that are kind of good. One thing I don't like about nvm is it wipes away your global dependencies. Global dependencies are usually a bad thing. Sometimes you just install something globally to get it to work on your machine and it'll last forever. I guess that's the problem with global dependencies, but in this case I like to have them because they work whenever I need them to work. So now if we do yarn install again, this should actually run it. So I didn't read the fact that we needed those versions, I just blindly accepted the fact that what version I had was the version that was going to work. And now we're on version 13, which is quite a high version, but we'll play this by ear. So while it's installing, we're going to flick back to Readwood. So after we run this crate, that's going to create, I'm assuming, a boilerplate for us. We'll cd in that directory, and then we'll do yarn redwood dev, which makes me think there must be a Redwood CLI that handles a lot of this stuff. I think we'll figure out more of that as we go. And then we browse to the site. It really annoys me when they choose a really hard to remember port. Normally, like the likes of like Create React App is 3000, Gatsby is 8000. Why 8, 9, 10? It seems very specific. Potentially. Oh, okay. Remembering the port number is easy as counting 8, 9, 10. Well, that was interesting. So now we can do yarn redwood. No, I thought it would have all completed for us. Redwood dev. Give that a little second to see what happens. The annoying thing is with macOS, whenever you I need to just kill my other browser. Whenever you change a version of Node, it asks you to like allow that version of Node to run every time. There is a setting somewhere in Mac's like system preferences to do this, but I've never been able to figure out how to do that. So I'm going to go to localhost, and it's easy as 8, 9, 10. So right, we're done. We can probably stop here. But obviously we need to do something else. So we've got the basic boilerplate application loading. I want to fire this up in WebStorm just to have a look at what that actually looks like in file wise. So if I go in the code. I've got icons I want to list. Go to Redwood and then open that. So I'm using WebStorm as my tool of choice. You can use VS Code, and I just never got into that stuff. I'm too set in my old ways. So let's drag this across and see, right, what do we have with a VS Code settings folder? That annoys me. That assumes that everyone doing Redwood is doing VS Code. Why would you bundle a VS Code configuration with it? That I would ignore that immediately. I'm gonna get rid of that. We have an API. So this, I'm assuming, is the backend API, because we got like functions and GraphQL. Then our node modules, it was standard. We got a web. Okay, that must be our friend. So they must kind of, it almost feels like a Meteor, or it's like the, if you've ever seen something like the main stack, which is Mongo, Express, Angular, and Node. And it was a full stack web application framework called the main stack, where you would have had a backend folder and a front end folder, and they both had their own source directories where you could like build and manage your software, but it was all one big project that you still built and uploaded to the server. I'm kind of getting the same feeling from that. So we've got our source directory, we've got our components. So it's kind of feeling a little bit like Gatsby, where you have components, layouts, and pages, or similar to the likes of Next.js and those kind of tools. Excuse any noises in the background. The producer is grabbing our even more beautiful assistant, Pepper, the puppy. So it's quite interesting. Got all our normal boilerplate package JSON prettier config. It comes, a Netlify config, it comes very opinionated out of the box, which I find interesting. I think it's just like kind of like of years of building web applications. I'm a very opinionated developer, and I hate being the one who puts that red tape and instruction on someone else. But building these kind of, a boilerplate that has opinions of like, this is your VS Code config, this is Prettier. I hate Prettier. Prettier auto rewrite your code before you commit. You should be just writing the code the way you want to write it. Code gets minified and uglified at build time. Why should people have to have a configuration to handle that kind of stuff for them? Just checking in the chat there. If you have any opinions about opinionated programming, put your opinions in the opinionated chat. Oh, we're up to 6. We were at 6 last time. Right. Enough distractions. Let's go back to, so we've installed, we've got the boilerplate, blah blah blah. Now you've created a skill in Redwood app. Let's save the. I'm not creating any Git repository. This is an example thing. Like I see this all the time where someone will do a create React app, build like a really nice, cool app, and then commit and push it to GitHub. And then when I look at the README, it's the create React app README, because they've just, what they're doing in essence is cloning that code base, making their changes and re-uploading that code base. That shouldn't be the next step here, because what's going to happen is there are going to be a bunch of people around the world who have the Redwood README. If there is a README, maybe they've thought of this. There's a README. Yeah, we're looking at the README already. Yeah, like this isn't your product. This is Redwood. Always change the README before you upload, even if it's just a one-liner saying what you're actually working on. It looks so much better than having some random boilerplate that doesn't describe your app. It just shows, it's another sign like you were just so lazy that you couldn't rewrite the README. Do not go onto my GitHub page right now and look at any of my projects, because I know for a fact that I've done the exact same thing and I've just re-uploaded something, especially when it comes to Gatsby. I just never change the README. If it's a personal blog, I don't care about the README. Ignore everything I just said. Right. So we're not going to create a Git repo. So actually, okay, it's kind of talking us through the file structure. I'm curious, what is Prisma? What is Prisma? Did I have Prisma? Prisma has seeds. What are seeds? We'll find out eventually, but we're not going to read things. So it's kind of telling us, right, so at the top of you have two directories, API and web, which I was kind of having a look at. And as part of Readwood, they separate the two of these. API is your backend, which we kind of assumed, and web is the front end. So Yarn refers to these as workspaces. So this is kind of a good thing. Like, I've never used Yarn workspaces, and I've always kind of wanted to touch into them. So this could be a good like trial by fire situation. Like let's look at Yarn workspaces as well. So when you add packages going forward, you need to specify which workspace they're going to be added to. So I have another step of what I want to do. So instead of just doing like yarn add, I have to do yarn add and then tell which workspace. Okay, that kind of works in the idea of, you know, say my backend needs a JSON parsing plugin or npm package, but my front end doesn't need it. But what if I want to share across the both? Do I have to have two dependencies? So the API has a node modules and the web has node modules, and then there's a shared node modules. Interesting. So maybe you can share both across. Let's see. Let me tilt the webcam down a little bit because it's all beard and nothing else. Give it a little second to rejig. So from here, it's talking about, like, we got the API directory. Prisma is our database plugin, whatever that means. Schema, I'm assuming that defines how our data structure should be. So if you were working with the likes of a SQL database, if you've ever done those kind of things before, you would define like a schema for your database. So what is your data and what are your different tables? How do the data relate to each other? Not going to do it in relational databases. Everything should be Mongo style DB, where it's just JSON structure and free and flowing. C's is too popular database. Okay, so this is kind of like, I remember using the thing back in the day where you would run migrations on your application. So at startup, when it was in development mode, it would run a migration to, like, populate either dummy data, or if this was the likes of a production application, it would run migrations to manipulate old data as your domain logic had changed. So kind of like, say, like, originally you had name and age, where name was the first and the last name, and then you ran a script to say, break the name into first name and last name. You could run a migration script to do it against all your data, whereas it would have run against older databases, but newer databases it wouldn't run against. So I guess that's kind of like, populating and manipulating your data for you. Or source code, we don't care about that. Web directory, this is where we're interested. Like, this is front end web development. This is where we're concerned and what we care about. Components, layout, pages. It feels very Gatsby like. I guess it's built in the whole Jamstack kind of crack. The rest, it's too much to read. We can't read that stuff. Let's move on to the next. So let's create our first. If you hear creaks, that's me moving around the chair. I've been sitting in the chair all day working from home. I need to keep moving around and my ass is going to go dead. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to try and create our own page. So we're not going to create the home page, that's a little bit boring. So kill our current script, clear. As well as this, this kind of like yarn redwood generate, it reminds me very much of if people have ever used the likes of Yeoman, not Yeoman of Guard, but Yeoman. Well, I think he was a Yeoman. I think that's what the whole idea of it was. But Yeoman this was like the early days of web application generation. Nobody seems to really use it anymore, but this is the same premise where you can scaffold a web application and build like complex things. There was a Yeoman recipe for everything, be it I think they had one for React apps too, but like it was really heavily used in the early days of Angular, Backbone, Marionette, Ember as well, and you're able to like scaffold and build applications using Yeoman. So it's very reminiscent of those days where you can say like yarn redwood wood, if I can type, generate page. I don't want to call this home. We'll call this beers. No. So now we have a file called beerspage.test and beerspage.js. I like the fact that it's creating the test file for us every time. We'll skip through this, like, oh, and it seems to be, does it create vice versa with the create writer cells? So open up web source rights. So let's jump into our code. Web source, where's rights? Rights, down the bottom. That icon doesn't make sense. So fine, if we need to tell WebStorm to switch to JSX, even though it should be already in JSX. Well, right. So we're in here. I guess we need to. Oh, actually, it added a beers right for us, which I think is quite cool. It's kind of doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us. I guess what happens if we. Oh, so we set that as our homepage, right? Let's yarn redwood dev and see what's changed. Apply. So we have, and it's boilerplate with our own stuff. Let's go to Google. Corona beer. Grab an image. Open image in new tab because I want to get direct link. A lot of folder structure, but I kind of like it. I just want to img. I'm going to do a source on that. If this is React, I think we know what we're doing. Or is this HTML? No, it's React. What are we missing? We're missing an alt. Ugh. Beer. And I wonder, does it have hot reloading? It does, right? We got an image. This is not meant to be offensive or taking away the seriousness of all the things that are going on right now. We'll play fun. That's kind of a bad image too. I feel bad about that, but right. We'll remove that before we continue on, obviously. Right. So we have our first page, which is kind of interesting. So when we're creating a page, it actually created the route for us as well, wired up the route, wired up the page, added tests. I'm curious to see what the tests look like and what the testing framework is in place for that. So it's looking like a version of, it's almost looking like a version of Mocha, because Mocha usually has the describe and it and the after each, or it could be JS. it's most likely just if it's using, and it's using testing library, so it's using React testing library by Kinsey Dawes, which is seems to be the de facto when it comes to testing React applications, which is kind of interesting. I'm just going to take a little break here. My producer was questioning the fact that she could open a beer on air. It's fine. I need to keep drinking. This is all a little bit boring. We need to fly through this stuff. This is getting boring. I need to build something, so we're gonna skip that. I don't care about how writing works. Okay, a second page and a link. Generally page about. What do? We already did a page, didn't we? During page beers about, but this time we're not passing the route, which is interesting. So if we do generate page dogs, what happens then? If you watched the last one, you realise we sat and built the icon has cheeseburger, but for dogs. But we'll see how that goes. So now we have this dogs page. So we'll fire up our app again while I check the source. What did this come out as? Look at our go away notification. We have a beers page, a dogs page. Did it add a route? It did. And okay. So if you don't provide a route path, it will default to the name of the page. I wonder, can I create a page called cats and / do not show? I wonder, will this generate the page and then generate the route with whatever I pass this as the route? This would be very useful. Yes, it did, which I find very interesting. So run our dev again. I want to see this run in the page. Allow node, keep on opening up all these tabs, frustrating. /dogs / do not show. Okay, so it's kind of cool that you can generate all these different pages and include the route as you're creating it, or you can default it to the name of the component or the page, which I guess you would need to be careful, because I'm one who doesn't like case sensitive subdirectories, but then again I like case sensitive pages, so I would really hate to have something like if I go create page, we'll say news in from type and news information updates. Actually, okay, it was very smart about this. It creates the component / the page with the naming that I provided, uppercase in the first, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it, like, I think it's snake cased the actual route. We've created a bunch of random routes as well, which we're going to have fun trying to clean up later on. You see, then this doesn't. I don't like a capital to the folder name or a capital component name, but I can live with that. Right, back to the tutorial, because we want to try and get something useful built. Okay, we're on 5 views and 1 like, so people must find some of this interesting. So, still build a second page. You can create a home page that has navigation. You can use, they've got their own router link system, kind of very much like Gatsby does, where you can say routes.about, trigger a function to go to that page. So I guess let's try and hammer out something on our home page. Our home page is going to be beers, because that's our route, or like our main route. So hello front world, drunk world. We need some sort of navigation. I'm going to go very old school. I'm going to say I want an ordered list. So an OL and an LI, and it's going to be a span, I think. What do they provide? Oh, they have an actual link component. So where do we get the link? We get the link from Readwood JS. So we may as well use their link component. Redwood router. We want the Redwood router, and they've kind of namespace all the things, so I guess it's kind of handy because they can control and manage all the things. Also means you're not pulling in random crap from other places you don't really care about. So let's change this to a link. WebStorm for some reason always automatically closes everything, which can be useful and also a burden when you know you're actually going to type something into it. Provided to prop, and it's going to be, we need to get our routes out of this as well. Let's fire routes ro dot, and it gives you routes, so you say routes dot dog. That should take us to the dog page. And because they provided their own ESLint configuration, it has to conform to 2 spaces for a tab instead of 4 spaces. I wholeheartedly drag the idea of 4 spaces per tab. None of this 2 spaces crap. Spread your code out, it's easier to read, it's more understandable. Come at me in the comments. Someone post a comment. Fuck's sake, we've got nothing all night so far. So fix current file. So dog, which is our page, we have dogs. Oh, it's dogs. So did a little bit of IntelliSense on that too. The fact that that isn't a route, but dogs is. No, doesn't care. Fuck it. Let's go and refresh. Do we have the app running though? Nope, we don't. Okay. This is the old days of XHTML when you had proper defined things. So dogs takes us dogs, we go back, takes us back. Okay, we're doing so well so far. Out of fear of just building the last product that we built the last time, I wouldn't be afraid of building the last product. Oh, so we gotta come from what's the right bride and Prettier? Prettier JS. I have strong opinions about Prettier. Right, because it's an opinionated code formatter, I think is why I have strong opinions on Prettier. The fact that it is constantly modifying and rewriting your code, like, just write the fucking code the way you want to fucking write it. ESLint is a great tool to clean up and apply rules, but I like to format things the way I like to. People in my team like to format things the way they like to. I don't want something changed in the code before I commit. I want to be able to visualize and understand that. So we added a route, got a little bunch of stuff. And the about page, you could add a link to the bottom, return to home page, all that kind of jazz, right? Component layout, fuck it. It's more or less like, how do we put in components? So getting dynamic, we're getting somewhere. I want to get into the actual, like, so at the minute, all we've done is we've built a Gatsby website. We've used Gatsby link we've used Gatsby's writing system, we've done all these things. All we've done is just build a static site. Let's build something that actually is dynamic, has a bit of data. So this is where our getting dynamic is going to get important. This is a lot of text as well. I'm not going to probably read through a lot of this, and we're going to just try and figure it out as we go. So it seems to be like, right, this Prisma, or schema.prisma is our database schema. So we go back up into that. We can see we have some initial stuff. So the provider is SQLite, so that's how telling us what the database is. URL is our database URL. I'm assuming that's maybe has to get passed in a build time or runtime. We generate our client. I have a fucking clue what that means. User example. I'm assuming they are like user props if we were going to do this. Please remove the following example. Okay. Define your own demos. Yarn Redwood DB save to create. Maybe we should read some of this, but it doesn't seem really exciting or interesting for someone to be watching long. So that was all simple. Now we'll want a snapshot of migration. So copy pasta time. Do we want the site dashboards client post? Right. So goodbye to that. Hello to this. We don't need everything here because we have the stuff at the top. Or do we need that? No. Let's get client binary targets. Binary target. I'll maybe just take the sources they provide. If their tutorial doesn't work, then we can shame and hate them. So this is kind of setting up, because it is a blog post, it's setting up for like blog posts. We'll kind of stick with that, and then once we know that works, we'll try and change that up. So if we do this, it seems to be now then have a command that redwood db save, which seems to be like it's almost creating the database for us. How you manage and develop and deploy this is it's going to be very interesting. So again, copy pasta. Let's take that command, fire it into our terminal if I can get there. Okay, you're trying to create a migration for SQLite database. A database with the name doesn't exist. Okay, so it's creating a database for us. Do you want to create that database? It would be stupid to choose no. But I'm no. Let's go yes. Let's go yes. Name of migration. Beers. So that did something. Did it create a file on our project? It did. I seen something shift. Migrations, beers. God, there's a README and everything. Oh, this is fantastic. We got a schema for that. Steps, JSON, a lock file. I'm not going to open that because it's going to shit the bed. What's our dev.db? Oh God, it actually created a SQLite database for us too. So, right, we run that. Blah, blah, blah. What's the next one? Oh, apply migrations with another command. I don't think we need to do this, but I kind of just want to run it anyway. Let's see what happens. Something happened. Did it change our file system? No. This is the point where I should be reading the documentation, but we're going to skip through all that. We want to get a dog favoriting application as soon as possible. If you've seen the last video, you'll understand. Right. So creating a post editor. Fucking hell, we're creating a post editor too. Right. So scaffolding post. What's the scaffolding command? And what does RW and G do? I guess we'll run it and see. Okay, shit, that created like a lot of files. I really should have renamed that the beers, because then we would have created the beers creating posts. But we can work with that. And then we can go to this file. So has this created an actual CRUD editing system for us? So let's yarn redwood dev, click allow, because it'll come up again. And then if we go to that URL it provided us, shit, okay, this is actually scaffolded out an entire CRUD editing system. Is this, where's the authentication and all this? Where does this live? So is it in the source? Nope. Is it in our web? Components. Okay, so it's built out our web part with a whole ability to do like app posts. Like if you're used to the likes of WordPress and these kind of tools were like for free, and this is not like, it's not easy to build this kind of stuff where you can create, edit and delete posts as well as actually view the website. Like this is okay. This is where like the whole Redwood stack is coming into play. So right, let's keep going. We're wasting time. So, but ignore that. I guess maybe we'll try and create a post. So no post yet. Create a new one, and we'll call this my first beer, my frost beer. My first beer, body. My first beer, Budweiser. Budweiser. Was Budweiser when I was 12. So we've created content and we get an edit. We can save, we can delete. This is kind of cool, kind of interesting. What else can we do for the next one? Homepage. Let's get to the crap, right? Oh, okay, now this is where the GraphQL kind of stuff comes into play, and we want to actually start querying our data. Again, we don't have time to read any of this stuff. We're going to copy and paste our first cell. Maybe just run the command. So it's going to create a cell. I'm assuming the cell is like a subcomponent part of the application. So it's created components, block post cell. What do we have? So what has that created for us? So we go blog post cell. Success to stringify, bring in the blog post. So we can do other crap here. So when you generate any case, you use Readwood, the right thing would name these things, blah. I guess we just copy and paste this right into the terminal blindly and pray for the best. Yeah, it did not like that. So let's run our site again and see what we have. I'm assuming we're going to have to do some step where we use GraphQL to pull out all of our pages, or all of our, well, posts, or we're going to call them something, beers, and display them somehow. I'm assuming it's going to be using this query ability. So we go to our routes. We created, oh, okay, we've created routes for everything. So if we go to /posts, it's funny how that auto completed, even though I've never went there before. Oh no, shit, that's because we were doing the edit. So that must be explaining that. So we don't care about that. We know how to edit stuff. So in our homepage, we could just blankly copy this, I think. For us, our homepage is beers page. I really don't think that's going to work, actually. No, we'll not do that. We'll try and look at the docs again. So it gets off and running the GraphQL, it assumes, makes an analysis of you and me. And which posts are valid and posts blah blah. So just check our socials. I need to be like given like the answer straight up. Like if you're like me, whenever you're trying building something an application or working something with code, I don't want to read. Like this is too much. This is too much to read. I can't understand it. I'm not going to care about it too much. So pages, homepage, homepage. It's saying fire that in. I'm weary, but fuck it, let's go for it. So let's paste it into our editor. Oh, okay, so it's just complaining about React not being imported. And these are not relative paths, but I think they'll be okay. Oh, that did not work. And it did not like that. We didn't do any actual GraphQL, did we? Was it in our blog post cell? Yeah, okay. Blog post ID. I think what we're trying to do is we need to create a list of all our blog posts. We have a blog post cell, an edit cell, which makes me think there are components of like how to run things. We got a new post cell. What is our post cell? Find posts by ID. So if anyone in the comments knows what the fuck this is meant to do, speak now or forever hold your peace. I feel like if we skip on the next step, it might help us or make it worse. We'll see how it goes. Right, maybe we actually have to read this. So, when you create your cell, you export several specifically named constants that Redwood takes from here. Typically, a cell may look like this. So that is our GraphQL query, a couple of different states to export. I find this a really interesting and nice pattern. And then our success, which we done the command cell post. So actually, right, we're gonna go back to the beers page and we're gonna undo all those changes, keep our dogs right. Yeah, so we have that, we have our post cell. So what did we go wrong? So it'll create a blog post cell, blah blah blah, which we have, tells us what it was. When generating, you can use any case you Redwood likes, blah 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 blah. Okay, that's kind of explain the whole case and thing for me. Get you off and run quickly. It generates and zooms, makes an absolute UME. That will have a cell minimum query, needs some blog post query, which are not queried, and blah 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 blah. Whenever you have a name, just post blah blah blah, something success. Let's plug this into our home page and see what happens. Well, we did that. Maybe I should have stuck with home page. No. If I go to rights, our home page is beers. So we're going to go to our beers page. Oh, fuck this shit. We're going to paste that back in. Okay. Do that. It's not like, oh, okay, this needs to be beers. Is it beers or beers page? Beers page. Maybe that'll work. Can't resolve layouts, blog post. Which makes me think it's not liking the fact that it's not the right layout for the pencil. It's almost like we haven't configured something to work with this. What if I'm just hacky as fuck and say, well, that's in layouts, which is up here. So why don't I just say dot dot slash dot dot slash. I really feel like it should import React for you. Even though you don't need it, it's just nice to have React imported. It's just, it tells your editor to shut the fuck up. What's the complaint about now? Come on. Fix current file. So I wonder now. Yeah, it did not like that either. Can I find or resolve blog layout from Beard's page? So it's looking for blog layout. We've probably missed a step here, haven't we? We have blog posts. Post layout. We don't have blog post layout. Why do we not have blog post layout? Let's go back a step. We created all of our databases. Let's go back to layouts. Oh, we didn't run any of these commands. That was a step we skipped. That's why we don't have any of this stuff. So I was lazy and couldn't give a fuck about it. Let's run those commands. Is there any more commands we need to run? No, fuck it. It's going to create a bunch of layout pages first. So now do Readwood dev. Now the site's even more fucked. We're getting a 400. Open up our dev tools just to make sure what's going on a little bit wider. So GraphQL is on 400. Kind of query field post blah 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 blah. We'll work this out as we go. Right. So we forgot. Yeah, we skipped past this whole layout section. So you need to create layouts to like handle and maintain your components. Layouts then hold pages, which then hold components. So we really create a blog layout. What does the blog layout look like? So that's fine. We had a post layout, but we don't have a blog layout. Blog layout, like, look at that. It just literally renders the child. That seems like such boilerplate that we do not need. So we need to copy paste a lot of this stuff in. Keep on hitting the wrong key and invert my colors. And then our home page, we call blog layout with the home component. I'm sure it'll figure that out as we go. About page, we don't have an about page, we don't care about that. Famous last words, that's probably going to be something very important. Things are named the way they are. Why would you include a section about the fact that the way things are named? So in our blog layout, we already have like a header, or we have a nav that takes us to the about page. That about page is actually going to be dogs for now. Current file, tell it to go away. Okay, so like you can add a link to take you home and about, and then the children. I guess we have that. Yeah, we have our home and we have our children. That's all we care about. We don't want a about page. So then about page, blog layout, we don't want that inside of, we don't have an about page anyway. We could fire this, I guess, into our dog page. If we have a dog page, yeah, we created one. So fire that import in for our blog layout, and then make that content. Fix is lint. So we've done that. We did our database. We actually added some posts, which will change out to be beers in the future. And I guarantee the site is still fucked. No. Okay, we got something. So we have an about link. What is about link? Takes us to dogs. What does slash blogs take us to? Oh, slash posts. Now it takes us to editing the post. Why does it take us there? Excuse me, I definitely read the comments. So let's try that. Posts instead of blog posts. No, that's not gonna be that. Right. Back to skim through the tutorial. We did create our first cell. Our first cell is blog post cell. Which matches up with that. We can, maybe because I ran one of these commands. Hopefully not. This looks the same as that. And then this again. So homepage, we want blog layout, blog post. So what does our homepage look like? Beers page is our blog post layout. So what are we getting right now? So we think about is a blog post. No, because I overwrote that. Maybe I need to restart the server. As well as everyone watching along, this is the reality of programming. We've been on this for what, 45 minutes now, and we're nowhere near clued out to what the fuck we're meant to be doing. This network error response is really catching my eye. The fact that I removed the unordered list, where is this getting rendered? When we inspect this, did we build navigation components? I think we did. I remember doing something about that. What component? So we're going to use the React Dev Tools to try and figure out what component we are actually dealing with. So where is this about coming from? Blog layout. Right, so let's look at blog layout. Okay, yeah, we did change that. Let's rename that to dogs. But our children is for 4, and that's where we're getting that error. It's kind of cool. We can see there's a query component, a failure. Right. Actually, now I think I get the comment in the chat. So if I go to, is it blog posts? Or is it posts? Still failed. Okay. Let's keep trying. What's our schema look like? We're trying to reference something that doesn't exist, so it's post. And then in GraphQL, what do we have? We have a thing of post. We haven't created something that says this is posts. So we need to obviously change that somewhere. Be it in our blog post cell or in, so that's saying find post by ID. Where is find post by ID defined? Yeah, but of course we don't get IntelliSense in that. We have a post. Christ, all the fucking. Oh, this is using Tailwind CSS? Maybe. Right, getting distracted here. Posts. This is where drinking doesn't help in some cases. So posts, where is our GraphQL schema? So our GraphQL schema should tell us we have a post type, so we should be able to fetch all the posts. Let me see if I can just open this as a text file. That wasn't useful at all. Yeah, so right, our posts are things are post, not blog post. So from this we should be able to try and wire up the GraphQL query. So where is that coming from? Our query is here. I'll drag this out a bit more so we can see. So our query is saying it's trying to find posts. But do we have posts? Why do we call them post, not posts? Yeah, this is where we're fucked. We may have to dig a little deeper for this. So I think we're getting lost in this GraphQL shite. Let's go back to post cell. Actually no, layouts. Layouts is probably where it's going to be for. It's going to be fetching. Do we need to be calling our post? No, it's a post layout or blog layout. Why don't all these have queries in them? So then if we say components blog post cell is posts. Is it posts or maybe it's post? I'm getting some hand signals. We're getting another beer run. We're going to hit our hour-and-a-half mark. I think at this point I'm going to go because no one's going to watch this back. We've yet to create something meaningful, but we're failing functionally. Again, if anyone in the comments can help and know what the fuck is going wrong in this. I was like, this is what happens when you don't follow the README and try and figure out what you're trying to do yourself. So it's kind of saying actually here, so it's saying query post, blah, blah, blah. I wonder, can we just copy a bunch of this? So post cell, we have all this already. Let's see. Blog post cell? Blog post cell. Why is ours not look the same as that? We're still sure, we'll go on to the next step. It's explain us how all this works. Our GraphQL schema database. This is where I'm hoping at the end it just gives you the pre-built application. So we're getting closer to time. Right, let's give it a head right up. Right, fuck the shit, we're going to just pull down an actual working one and figure out what the hell we were doing. So I think we went wrong in the fact that we were naming things wrong in our GraphQL schemas. We weren't understanding exactly what we were meant to be doing. So we do yarn redwood dev, if that works. Probably the yarn install first. It's glad to see that in the comments too, people don't have an idea what the fuck is going on. I think what happened is we were renaming things and trying to be different and not following the examples that were provided. But at the same time, there's probably a reason why they described it in the examples. But I want to fire up the example they have, and I'm going to open that up to see where did we go differently. So we'll find the code, personal blog example. The annoying thing is, like, this is probably going to be very different from what we expected. If you hear squeaking in the background, it is my little pup. Just ignore that. So I think, like, we had made changes to the layout. So they have like a blog layout. Again, there's no GraphQL in here. And see, this is where it all goes kind of about pear-shaped. Like, they have like a lib in here too. Pages, homepage. Those are homepage. Their homepage then, it was calling the post summary cell and the post layout. So we go to our layouts and let's see what's happening there. What about our components? Yes, I had a post too. It's kind of interesting. We're not sure what was going on there, but I think we're getting closer to time. I did like an hour and a half the last time. I clearly did not succeed on much this time. I think a little bit of the beer and a little bit of redwood at this point. I like the idea of redwood being this like one-stop shop when it comes to getting that backend element to a static Netlify style, Gatsby style site. But I don't know, like, I almost think, and comment away in the chat and ask questions about this, but I kind of feel like the advantages of having a Jamstack like site is the fact that you don't have a backend. You're not paying for a database. You're not paying for like a server or a function that has to, you know, compute and do interactions. Whereas, like the beauty with these, like, statically generated sites is the fact that you build it and it generates your site, and then there's nothing else on top of that. Whereas it seems like this is kind of adding in the backend that you don't want. For example, like if I do Gatsby, like WordPress, like Gatsby can feed off a WordPress site. So you can build your application on WordPress, and as you're writing posts and the post is submitted to your WordPress site, it will then trigger the build of your Gatsby website, which then rebuilds, regenerates, and rehosts everything. So you're still getting that like super fast static content without having to maintain and care too much about this CRUD backend. Like, all I'm seeing here, especially with this example that we have, is, how am I authenticating the API side of things? Having an admin folder scares the shit out of me, because that's generating potentially an admin URL that someone is going to scrape the web looking for to try and attack. You need to think about authentication layers on top of it. The likes of Netlify and stuff do have authentication layers on top of their stack, but how do you then maintain and manage that kind of information? Flip back to I see the idea behind this. I see the whole kind of full stack approach and bringing this into like a kind of what people were used to when it came to a blog or a content CMS. There is other solutions, I think, where you feed your static site with content instead of backing your static site off a content provider. Like, contact me if I'm wrong, complain on Twitter to me. There it is right there. I understand these kind of like these things like Readwood are maybe tapping into the market where there was Netlify CMS and Contentify and all these kind of things, where people wanted, to potentially build up a shippable product that they could give to a consumer or a customer and say, right, here is your web application, here's your editing page, here's your actual customer facing page, it's now yours. With the static normal Netlify sites, you need a developer who's going to be able to understand what Markdown is, what a configuration file is, how they're going to maintain and upload this kind of stuff. Whereas these tools, it's trying to monkey patch all this on top of it. Whereas like, when the static site era came around with the likes of Jekyll, it was known like, it is just Markdown that is turned into a web page. You're going to have someone with a little bit of competency when it comes to computer technology to understand and manage and build this Markdown content, whereas this is another side of that infrastructure. Netlify has some, or sorry, not Netlify, Gatsby has some like premium plans where like they'll help and build and manage your site for you. But I think that is nowhere near where Redwood is trying to take this. It's a great concept. I like the idea of like, let's build a database and then that generates your content. How that's going to work out in practice, how that's going to scale and grow. The fact that a drunk man with not many instructions was falling over it, the smallest hurdle, is probably not helping the fact of that. But I think it's not something to throw in the bin right away. It's not something to jump on the bandwagon of it. But we could classify it as something we need to entertain and look into. I guess on that note, I'll leave it another few seconds for the delay in the chat, but I don't think we have any prying questions or interesting things. This is a little bit more of a slower dyslexic developer Hello Drunk World. I wasn't as drunk, but the technology was a lot harder. Maybe next time I'm going to tackle something a little bit smaller, like an NPM module, but we'll see about a year, and hopefully check in with you next week. Thank you and bye.